Do you ever count the days before it's payday again? Do you find yourself stressed, worrying about your expenses before you even receive your paycheck? Or do you ever wonder where your money goes a few days after payday? Lastly, do you ever find yourself saying that you'll finally do something about your finances, but actually never do it? If your answer to these questions is a resounding yes, then you're probably living a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. What does it mean to live paycheck to paycheck? Although there's no specific definition for this, it generally refers to a situation wherein an individual must meet all financial obligations with his or her current earnings from one pay cycle to the next. This may sound a little harsh, but if you're in a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, you're living just to pay your bills. Living from one payday to the next is a tough situation, but you can definitely end it. The good news is, we are here to help. Stay with us as we share with you the 7 ways to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 1, get a clear understanding of your financial situation. When did you realize that you're living paycheck to paycheck? What do you think is the reason why you're living paycheck to paycheck? What do you plan to do about it? When do you plan to address it? When do you plan to start actually doing something? If you tend to bury your head when it comes to finances instead of answering these questions, you're not doing yourself a favor. If you want to move forward in life, you need to have a clear understanding of your financial situation. First, you have to determine the very main reason why you're in this situation, because living from one payday to the next can be chalked up to a variety of causes. To name a few, it could be your spending habits, a mountain of debts or student loans, or simply because you're a minimum wage earner, which makes it harder for you to get ahead because the money that you're earning is just barely enough to cover for your living expenses. Now that you finally identified the root cause of your situation, you can then move forward in addressing the things that you should do and the financial goals that you should aim to achieve. Having a clear financial goal would be a motivating factor for you to get out of the paycheck to paycheck pattern. Do you want to pay off your debt, have savings, build your emergency fund, or do you just simply want to have a little spare cash from your paycheck? Make it as specific as possible. Once you have a goal in mind, outline the individual action steps that you need to take in order for you to reach that goal. Then, write it. You can put it on a small piece of paper and then hang it on your mirror, door, or somewhere you can see every day. This will allow you to create an emotional connection that motivates you every single day to reach your financial goal. Having a clear understanding of your financial situation and then using this process to set money goals for yourself can act as an incentive for you to break away from the paycheck to paycheck mold. Number 2, go on a spending freeze. If you are really serious about leaving your paycheck to paycheck situation, here's something that you should try. A spending freeze is when you stop spending for anything aside from your necessities, bills such as rent, grocery, water, electric, and internet bills. Basically, anything that you don't need to survive, you won't spend a dime on it for a certain period of time. Your bills would still be paid, and you would continue to feed and provide for your family, but extra spending would be strictly prohibited. Here are the rules for a spending freeze. Right after you received your paycheck, plan on what you'll do with the money. Make a reminder on your home or on your phone wallpaper that you are currently on a spending freeze. Talk to your family and let the people around you know that you are committing to this. Decide on the length of time that you'll do this. If you're a beginner, we suggest trying this for 2 weeks first, and if you think that you can actually survive, then proceed on doing it for a whole month. Strictly don't spend money on anything except the things agreed upon. Don't prepare for the freeze by buying things ahead of time before your actual start date. That defeats the purpose, dude. When you freeze your spending, you force yourself to stop doing things that you may do regularly, such as impulse buying or dining out. Learning to settle down with what you have and appreciate what not having money feels like will surely transform your spending habits and make you incredibly grateful. Number 3. Track your spending. You've probably heard this before, but we're here to remind you again. Track your spending. To stop from living paycheck to paycheck, you need to figure out where your paycheck goes. Why? First, you'll gain awareness of your spending habits, both the good and bad habits. Second, you'll be aware of any fraud or unwanted charges like paid app subscriptions. Third, you'll be motivated to cut back on unnecessary areas of your expenses. Lastly, it allows you to take control of your own spending, as it encourages you to face your financial situation head on and come up with actionable solutions to secure your financial goals. How to do it? If you're a little old school, you can use a notebook in listing your expenses. Or, if you have various bank accounts, you can try using separate spending account for your daily expenses. Or, you may also use spreadsheets such as Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. Or if you want something more handy, you can try using smartphone apps. We listed the 10 best expense tracker apps that you can explore. Mint, YNAB, Erica within the Bank of America app, SupportPay, QuickBooks Online, Digits, Shoeboxed, Expensify, Xero, Evernote. The trick here is finding the best way of tracking expenses that actually works for you, and then sticking with it. But remember, it's not about the actual tracking, but rather, it's about making sure that you know what your goal is, because if that's clear to you, tracking your expenses would be easy peasy. Number 4. Learn how to say no and reevaluate the quality of your inner circle. Saying no to your friends, office mates, or even yourself is an important ability, especially when it comes to saving money and trying to get out of the paycheck to paycheck life. Being able to say no is not the easiest thing to do, and we get you, because most of the time we feel pressured to spend money and make financial decisions based on what others think. Yes, it's not nice to feel like you're being cheap or the boring one in the group, but spending money just because you can't say no is a surefire way to make yourself stuck in the paycheck to paycheck life. By saying yes and going along with everything just because you're being polite or you're trying to please the people around you can rob you of your precious time and resources. If something doesn't serve you, your goals, or life, then don't do it. It's your life. Now, if your friends become resentful just because you often say no, or they feel threatened when you assert your financial priorities, or they tend to utter insensitive jokes or remarks when you say you can't afford something, then it's probably the time for you to reevaluate the quality of your inner circle. That's not supposed to be the friends you should have, because real friends should be your support system that pushes you towards financial growth. We are here to remind you that by saying no, you're not missing out on anything, but rather you are just preparing yourself for a better life and better financial situation. Number 5. Increase your income. If you think that none of the things that we've previously mentioned can get you out of the paycheck to paycheck situation, then probably you're underpaid. Living paycheck to paycheck and having an income that's barely enough for you to survive can make you feel like a hamster running on a wheel. And if you are honest with yourself that your salary is too small, which keeps you stuck on this wheel, then it's time to do something about your income. With a little sacrifice, effort, and discipline, you can put yourself on the right path to a better financial future. How can you realistically increase your income? Try asking for more hours at work if you're paid hourly, or getting a part-time job. Starting a small business or a side hustle may also be an avenue you want to explore. When choosing a side hustle, think about how much time you can commit to it and what skills or interests you have that could be profitable. Online freelancing is also a popular option, but if you think that you don't have enough skills yet to explore that option, you could just as easily cut lawns or walk the neighbor's dogs for extra money. There's no shame in putting a little extra effort to improve your financial situation. Number 6. Monitor your progress on a monthly basis. Now, are you all set up and ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck? If you want to succeed on this, you need to be hands-on about your finances, and that means monitoring your progress regularly to make sure that you are moving forward. Here are the questions you should ask yourself at the end of each month. Which of your purchases this month were impulsive? How many of your purchases this month have long-term value? Which 3 things do you want to cut from your budget this month? How much did you spend eating out? Were you able to save this month? How much? What are you specifically saving up for? How much do you need to save every month to meet your goal? How much did you make from your current side hustle? What are the other ways you can try in the next 6 months to increase your income? That's it. Try asking yourself these questions every month and log your answers so you could look back on your progress over time. Number 7. Break the culture of silence and shame and know when to ask for help. Do you know that according to research, it's easier for somebody to tell anyone they have a sexually transmitted infection than for them to talk about money? Think about it. Do you know someone who openly shares his or her pile of debts? The culture of silence and shame when it comes to our bad financial situation keeps us stuck. Talking about money doesn't have to be a taboo topic. Asking for financial assistance from friends and family might be uncomfortable for you, but it's a much better option than falling into loan with big interests. Of course, you shouldn't make it a habit, but asking friends and family for money during a one-off time of financial need is far preferable to the high-cost alternative. Let's make it easier for you. Here's how you can ask for help in a well-mannered way. Determine your needs and clearly express the exact amount you need. Try your best to explain the reason why you're asking for their help. Explain your own efforts so far and why it's not enough. Develop a repayment plan. This is important, believe us. You'll feel better about asking for help if you're not asking for a handout. Offer them help in return while you're unable to repay or if they refuse to allow you to pay. Be respectful by giving them time to consider your request, and if they refuse to help, still be respectful. Lastly, if they helped you in any way, be grateful. As you go through the ups and downs of learning how to be better at managing your finances, you'll find it helpful to have a support system that understands you and willing to help you improve your financial situation and life in general. Here's a quick summary of the 7 ways to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 1. Get a clear understanding of your financial situation. Number 2. Go on a spending freeze. Number 3. Track your spending. Number 4. Learn how to say no and reevaluate the quality of your inner circle. Number 5. Increase your income. Number 6. Monitor your progress on a monthly basis. And lastly, number 7. Break the culture of silence and shame and know when to ask for help. When you're stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle of life, it's hard to see a way out, but it's not impossible. After all, nothing worth having comes easy and without effort. Here's a friendly reminder from your guys here at Money Mastery. We are rooting for you. Do you have any other tested and proven ways to stop living paycheck to paycheck? Share in the comment section. And if you learned something from us today, make sure to share this with your friends and family. Let's all prosper together.